Welcome to the Fantasy Thinker. I'm Jared Quartermanch, and today we are going to be doing review number 12, I think. Uh, Forge of the High Mage by Ian C. Esslemont. I just finished this and I liked it. It was awesome. This is a tale of the paths to ascendancy. Now, I'm kind of curious here, with the subtitle down at the below here. Uh, Previous books in this series were numbered 1, 2, 3. This doesn't have a number, and it's those previous paths to ascendancy books, um, were kind of like a trilogy, and so this one's not numbered, and it's just a tale in the past. So you wonder, is this going to be something that is a continuing thing that Esselmont can do where he could just take any story he wanted and just throw it in there as far as the timeline. He can mix it up a little bit, because this one it kind of shows in this story here, as this story seems to take place in indeterminate amount of time after um, the third book, Kellenved's Reach, but definitely it's still definitely way before Gardens of the Moon in the main Malazan Book of the Fallen series. The Empire in this book is still young and expanding. So, getting into the book itself, a major theme of this book is like offered right in the prologue. Um, as we get a glimpse of what the Gestal is, which I think was like gonna be the original name of this book, but um, I'm not sure about that. But that's what I heard. And so you get a look at what it is and at what people with power will do to keep it. So, to quote a doomed priestess in the beginning of the prologue here, um, those in power will do anything to hold on to it after all. I underestimated the depths of their selfishness and greed. And this theme is explored in a couple of different ways throughout the novel. We see it in the machinations of the religious council of the Falarians, which is the area of the world that this book mostly takes place at the Falar Islands, and we also see it in an old character from. We also see an old character from the Malazan Book of the Fallen, prominent among those Falarians involved there, and of course grasping for power among them. And it's a key element of the events that play out in this book. Um, and we also see kind of the opposite of power grasping, for the sake of greed. I would say it's still grasping power, um, but we see this in Tashrin. Tashrin, the High Mage Tashrin. We've seen him a lot. We've seen him in Mal's Book of the Fallen. We've seen him in Esslemont's novels of the Malazan Empire, and we've also seen him a little bit in the other Paths of Ascendancy books. And so Tashrin's a major character in this book, and he's probably one of the most fascinating character studies in this whole book. So I really enjoyed that because I find him a fascinating character myself, and I was very pleased that he was a main character in this book. Um, and he's someone who, in this book, Tatian is somebody who benefits greatly by the meritocracy style of ruling that Keleved and Dancer seem to have established, for their empire here. And so, that's pretty evident here in this book that Tashrin comes into his own, and it's really cool how it happens. And I really like how Esselmont pulled that off. Um, Another theme that can't be avoided in a story like this at all is the idea of empire building and imperialism, of course. Kellenvet, after all, is looking to take over these lands, and he really shows his cunning, and we get a sneak peek at the extent of his abilities and power. And something that it's only been hinted at before, really comes to the fore in this book. Um, so we it's like this book is called Forge of the High Mage, and I don't think it's an actual place. The title is more referring to how these high mages are forged into what they become. And so, there's dual meanings throughout the book here. Um, let's see here. I'm looking through my handy dandy notebook here. Uh, and so, let's see here. Another. Oh, yes. We also get a peek at some new characters that are introduced to us, and how we get a look at how they view the people who rule them. And one of the ideas that Essamon plays with a little bit among them is that you know they the characters who people who are ruled by an empire, um, you know, they don't really see a difference in who rules them, and it's one of the things that allows empires like this to exist, because if somebody is in charge of a people and they're not really the greatest governing bodies in the world, and another empire comes in and takes over, how is that change? The Malazans come in and take over. The people, they still have their lives to live, and they still take orders from those who are in charge. And so Esselmon plays with that concept a little bit, and he does it deftly. He leaves us with much to think about, and that's what you want to ask from a good author. So overall, this book was fun to read. Um, there's a lot of familiar characters that pop up that make you just, you're familiar with them, so you're able to just sit back and enjoy the ride. And the tale is exciting in this book. It's fun to read. Big things happen that they hint at ecological and geological change, um, and had to have an effect on the later empire policies. Um, which it gives this book a bit of weight of importance instead of just being a fill-in prequel or something like that. So there's big events that happen in here, and it makes sense. There's a lot of Easter eggs, and so I don't think this is not a book that you're going to be able to enjoy as a standalone book. It's there's a lots of stuff that's hinted at to previous works, both from Esselmont's own novels of the Malazan Empire and the Path to Ascendancy. There's characters that come from those books as well, and also there's characters from the Malazan Book of the Fallen from Erickson, and so that for someone like me who's read everything and a lot of things twice, it's great fun. Uh, and but if somebody going into this book, if they were to read just this, they may be a little bit lost, so that's just a little heads up there. But for fans, you're gonna like it. It's great fun, it's thoughtful too, and there's a lot of good stuff in this book. So once again, Ian C. Esselmon's Forge of the High Mage, a tale of the paths to ascendancy, is a good read. It's fun, and lots of stuff to think about in here. I like it. So, with that note, be good to each other. Thank you.